If you're studying, nutrition is so important to keep your brain working really well so that you can learn and study to the best of your ability. If you eat a lot of sugar or a lot of foods that are really high in fat, you're going to feel really lethargic and you're probably going to fall asleep when you're studying, to be honest, and you won't be able to concentrate that well in class. As opposed to if you're eating, a lot of fresh fruits and vegetables and whole foods, then that's going to help you to be able to learn. The way that I like to think about it is think about a plate. So half of that plate should be vegetables, a quarter should be protein, so you've got your meat, chicken, fish, and then the rest of the plate, so the other quarter should be things like rice, potatoes, grains, or breads and cereals they call it. Especially if you're hungry while you're studying, like what kind of snacks do you have on hand that are going to fuel your brain well, so things like fruit and nuts and hummus and crackers, and water is the best choice definitely in terms of beverages. I mean, you can lemon juice if you don't like water or whatever, but you can get really tired, and if you're doing an all-nighter you might want to reach for those energy drinks. But just having enough sleep and eating well, like eating your fruits and vegetables, that's going to be much better for you and give you a lot more energy in the long term than reaching for those energy drinks. Most people tend to eat 3 meals a day and snacks in between. It's really important to actually space out your meals, so rather than just eating one massive meal at night, making sure that you are regularly feeding yourself, because you don't really want to let yourself get too hungry or too full. You want to kind of stay in a certain range. Breakfast like a king, so eat a big breakfast and fill yourself up ready for the day. Lunch like a prince, so medium-ish, and then dinner like a pauper, so you don't want to be filling yourself up too much before you go to sleep. Yeah, so I like to think about it as the 90-10 rule. So if you're eating well 90% of the time and that 10%, you eat junk, then you're going to be pretty healthy, because it's what are you doing most of the time? That's what counts and adds up. What I hear a lot in the community is that eating healthy is expensive, and that's because fruit and veggies are expensive. But you don't have to eat fresh fruit and vegetables for starters, like frozen or canned, that's fine. You're still getting all the nutrients, and in fact, with frozen vegetables, they're snap frozen, and so they retain all their nutrients. And then the other thing is, like, places like Veggie Boys are so great for vegetables that don't maybe look as good but are cheaper, so you can get around that, yeah. Sugar, saturated fat and salt, they're the 3 things to watch out for. So we all know about sugar, it's bad, but it's refined sugar, so things like fruit, that's absolutely fine. And then in terms of saturated fat, so things like deep fried foods are things to watch out for, too much oil and things like that, and that actually can clog up our arteries and make it harder for our heart to work, so it can cause heart problems later on, yeah. And I think that's the thing as well with nutrition. You might be like, oh, that'll only happen to me when I'm 60 or 70, but everything adds up now, so it's so much harder to change when you're that age, when you have a problem, rather than now you can change the way that you eat. You actually could be perfectly healthy looking, like you may maintain a healthy weight, but it's still, you don't know what's inside. Yeah, Western diet is very, very high in saturated fat, sugar and salt, and so I would encourage anyone who's coming over from another country to try and look for the foods that they have grown up with. We've got quite a few, Asian shops and different Indian shops and everything, so the ingredients are out there, and they're often quite cheap as well, especially like, lentils and things like that. So yeah, just trying to cook as much as they can, maybe even, Skyping mum and asking how she made something that they really enjoyed back at home, because yeah, the Western diet can be very unhealthy. But on the flip side, if you could just have, some meat and some vegetables and some potatoes, and that's a very healthy meal as well. Alcohol contains carbohydrates, which are like calories, and also alcohol itself contains calories, so people often don't think about how many calories they're consuming when they are drinking alcohol. Yeah, the other thing as well, when you're out partying, you're going to not really be caring about what you eat, and then the next day as well, you might be eating, sugary and salty and fatty foods to help you recover. So all of that adds up, and it's important just to be mindful of our habits around drinking alcohol.